to me tells me that, okay, this defense is real, and they still went into the mind frame like they did in the Super Bowl to stop the run, to stop Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts didn't really go off on his legs like that either. Just think about that.
He had 101 passing yards.
Wow. And that was, I know, it was tush push, a few
Yeah.
tush pushes,
Yeah, Jalen Hurts
Um,
with the immaculate
excuse
five
me,
rushing yards
a
today.
couple brotherly shoves. What are we talking about?
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts
brotherly
scored
shoves.
touchdowns off of brotherly shoves today. Let's get it right. Key fourth and ones by some brotherly shoves. So you had to put that out there.
Absolutely.
um,
Jalen Hurts with the amazing five rushing yards in the day and one touchdown.
I
Amazing.
knew the Eagles wanted it, but it was just a certain amount of plays. I think it was self-inflicted wounds by the Chiefs, the reason why they lost that game. Now we're moving into the fourth quarter. Still, both offenses were struggling to try to, to stay on the field. But one thing I like about the third quarter for the Chiefs, I'll say, we were texting back and forth. The Chiefs had a really long, methodical drive after the Eagles couldn't score off of one drive. And that took at least about, like 10 minutes off the clock. And that's all the Chiefs were doing was throwing dinks and dunks. Here's a 3-yard pass, a 4-yard run. Here's another 5-yard pass. Oh, a 4-yard slant. Here we go. That's all they were doing. And then they wound up inside the 5-yard line, and Patrick Mahomes goes for a pass, and then the play of the game happened where my guy Andrew Makuba and Reed Blankenship on this play. What I do know is that Patrick Mahomes had easy touchdown to Travis Kelce. What they won't tell you is he kind of led him a little bit too far in that throw. So when he caught the ball low, it popped up in the air. Reed Blankenship was slightly out of coverage, but Makuba was right there ready just to hit Kelsey, but he was at the right place at the right time. The football guys was right with us because when he caught that interception, I thought he was going to take that back to the house, but somehow the Chiefs offensive lineman ran, I felt like he ran like 50 yards, 50 miles an hour to catch Andrew Makuba and got him out by our 40-yard line. That was the play. That is a major, major
Turning
play
point.
of the game. Yes. What did you think about that whole sequence?
I thought that was amazing. I thought that was the entire thing that turned the entire game around. I got like 20 different text messages that were screaming Makuba, Makuba,
Yes.
Makuba. We love to see it. I think that Makuba is a very strong pick this year to be like a really outstanding player. I think he's like a sleeper player. A lot of people weren't looking at him coming into the season, but from what we saw in the preseason and from what we saw today, I think that he's gonna be amazing in these upcoming weeks and be a great factor moving forward.
I agree. Last week, and especially during practices, Nick Sirianni was getting on the case of Andrew McCool, saying that he has to be a little bit more aggressive and also like pay attention when he's back there. Also, be a little bit faster back there. I think he answered the bell today. He made three of the biggest plays today. If you want to give a game ball out, the game ball should be given to Andrew Makuba. He should get the game ball today. The fact that he almost sacked, I think he got a half a sack with Zadarius Smith by sacking Patrick Mahomes. That was the first one. The second one was that stop at 3rd and 1. That kind of reminded me of Cooper DeJean against Jamar Chase last year against the Cincinnati Bengals. That play was so crucial, major for us to stop him at fourth down. Kareem Hunt on 4th down, and then an interception. The ball lands right in his hands. That was perfect. Set us up for another score. We're up 20 to 10 with 4.5 minutes left in the ball game, and we're thinking that we got this. Like the game is. Listen, Eagles always give us heart attacks. It never can be right without a heart attack game for us. But the Eagles just proved like, hey, we're good now. We're up by 10. Let's just run this clock out, and they couldn't run the clock out, could they, D?
No.
Couldn't do it at the time. So the Chiefs got the ball back, and defense made a few great plays. They also had another 15-yard penalty. But the main thing I got for the fourth quarter was for the second week in a row. Dmac, tell me if you pay attention to this. For the second week in a row, Patrick Mahomes has been terrible with throwing passes in the fourth quarter. Last week against the Chargers, he missed 3 crucial passes with receivers wide open. His feet wasn't set. I trust in the O line, but whatever it is, he is throwing way too far. Way too far. He missed Thornton wide open from a blown coverage by Adoree Jackson, who needs to be sat immediately. I would say put Ringo out there. Put Ringo out there because Adori's going to cost us some games. But back to what I was saying, he missed two of those passes with Thornton. Well, one of those passes Thornton just couldn't catch it. The other one, he was wide open.
It was
And
like
then
he
third
overthrew him by
time's the
like five,
charm.
10 yards.
Right. And then you're right. And then the final pass he caught because Q was out of coverage. For some reason, I don't know what Q was doing. I don't know if he thought that he was going to have safety help, but it wasn't a safety help issue. That was his guy that he was way too off on because there's no way he should be that open down the middle of the field. So I don't know why Q got hung up
Absolutely
there.
not.
Right. So what do you think about that whole thing about Thornton and about that fourth quarter, you know, Mahomes not, getting, mind you, it was 3:45 left on the clock. 3:45 left on the clock because the Eagles could not get any points off of that last drive when it was like 4 minutes left. So it was 3:45 left on the clock that they were driving. He threw that pass to Thornton. It was 3:44 left on the clock. And that was a touchdown pass. 3 minutes left in the game. That's when they scored the touchdown. 45 seconds went off. I think that was huge for the Chiefs. I mean, that was huge for us, but bad job on the Chiefs. If he would have scored that touchdown, they possibly could have had an extra chance to win this game because they would have forced us to make not just one or two first downs, maybe three first downs to close it out. But instead, that's all we had to do was make two first downs and we won the game.
Mhm.
But it was 3 minutes left after he scored that touchdown, and then it was 20-17. What do you think about that whole thing with the Chiefs and Thornton?
Patrick Mahomes has watched.
Why not?
Two of the last three losses have been to the Eagles. Three losses in a row for the first time since 2016 at Texas Tech. Patrick Mahomes is not playing the same football that he has been playing for the past 3 to 5 years.
Talk about
I
it.
I think that he's been very inaccurate. Not fully, but like it's just been like a couple plays where he's just very inconsistent and inaccurate, overthrowing, underthrowing, or just not throwing a good pass at all. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback, but like it's just inconsistent play. Like he'll throw one good pass and then he'll throw one terrible pass. That's like
Yeah,
kind of
very
what I'm getting
inconsistent,
from
which
Patrick.
is, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's like, well, what else can I have? What else can I do? I think the one person right now in the Chiefs locker room that's sick right now, and that's Travis Kelsey. Travis Kelsey is sick right now, man. He's sick. When he bobbled that pass, I mean, his face, his whole demeanor changed from the sideline because he had an aggression all game long. Like he really wanted to beat the Eagles today. You can tell he did. He really wanted to stick it to us, and he knew he blew it with that pass right there. I mean, with that non-catch, and that Makuba came back and ran like 45 yards back. Like
Hmm.
that was a the turning point, like you said, of the game. And he's the main person kicking himself. But on the other end, Patrick Mahomes in high pressure situations over the past few games, especially these past three games, he has not been good. He's been, and I think it's his mechanics, it's his footwork, but I think a lot of that too is the offensive line. I think the teams that he's been playing against have a good defensive front, and Chiefs don't have a good offensive line anymore. And they're not going to win a lot of games with that offensive line. They had injuries today.
No, yeah, everything about this offensive line like told me the Chiefs are not going back to the Super Bowl.
Ooh, that's a take.
Absolutely not. I do not think the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl with this offensive line. Not even with this defensive line. The Eagles' offensive line. How many seconds did Hurts have in the pocket? Like 6 to 10 seconds per play.
Really,
He was just
that's
standing
I'm
there.
so glad you mentioned that. Talk about that, D, because you're
Hurts didn't
right.
even. He didn't even have to run today. We're talking about Jalen Hurts didn't have many rushing yards because he was just chilling in the pocket the whole game, just standing there looking around. You know, who should I pass
He
to?
made some coffee.
AJ Brown, Smitty. Maybe pass
Right.
the ball to Nick Sirianni or Big Dom. But
Um. We on 30 minutes now, so we're going to wrap this up. But I want to ask you, speaking of AJ Brown, so do you think AJ Brown is not really healed because he had an injury throughout training camp and he barely practiced at all during training camp? Because right now I'm not seeing any, separation and any connection between Hurts and Brown right now. And plus they playing AJ really tight right now. And it doesn't seem like the connection is there. Or did AJ Brown take a step back? I don't think that he's fully himself yet.
it could be a mental and a physical thing.
Mm,
AJ Brown had a lot of mental issues last year. The team almost fell out in like November or something like that. There was a
yes.
lot going on, a lot of drama. I do think it's majorly physical. I think mentally he's gotten a lot better, a lot
Okay.
stronger, a lot more put together. Reading his little book on the sidelines. He said no more
Yeah.
FIFA this week.
Right.
He did say that no more free publicity, so you will not be seeing AJ Brown's of any more books. But I think it's a physical thing. He hasn't been there hasn't been much production from AJ Brown lately, and I think that's all in part of him not practicing. So he's not getting the reps in practice, so he's not getting reps in the game.
I agree. I think it's going to take maybe like 2 or 3 more games to realize, is this a AJ Brown issue? Is this a offensive coordinator issue of trying to find ways to give him the ball? Or is this a Jalen Hurts issue of not getting him the ball? To me,
Mhm.
I'm on the fact of the first one. I think training camp was, I think he missed a lot during training camp with the new offensive coordinator. So he wasn't there to, you know, to really do all of these plays. And of course he's a professional. He don't really need all the practice like that. But again, when you have,
This
you
is
got to
his
be in
system.
rhythm. You want to be in sync, right?
Yeah, so the offensive coordinator is obviously not going to include him as much if he wasn't there when he first got there. His offense right now is revolving around the people that were there at training camp.
Exactly. I'm interested in seeing, hearing what everyone else think about that. I can't wait to watch the rest of the sports talk and see what they think about AJ Brown. But we're going to talk about the other wide receiver, Smitty, because
My
I'm
dog.
glad I love Smitty. I had him plus 50 yards. That's right. I had him plus 50 yards today because he's been a Chiefs killer. That pass that Jalen Hurts threw to him today reminded me of the pass in on that Monday Night Football game where we won 21-17. It was in the same direction. It's the same play, if you ask me, where he caught that. One thing I love about Jalen Hurts balls is that it just like when he throws, it's in the air for such a long time. It gives us the receivers time to adjust to it,
The
And
high
it's a high arc, kind of like Russell Wilson has like a high arc. They comp each other in so many different ways. But I love exactly like he once when he threw that up to Smitty, I was like, it's gonna be a catch. It's going to be a catch. I know he's going to catch that. It is exactly the same spot where he
perfect
caught that on
placement.
Monday Night Football 2 years ago when we won in Kansas City. Amazing play to set us up for that touchdown. I mean, a touchdown as well down on that and on their side of the field. Amazing. What do you think about his play today?
I think that Devontae Smith did exactly what Devontae Smith needed to do. He was not the MVP of the game, but he still produced in ways that we needed him to produce. He came through when we needed him to come through, and that's what he should do, and that's what he's here for, Mr. Slim Reaper.
I agree. We all know the main person of the game of today, and that's Andrew Makuba. I think
Yeah,
Makuba
Andrew
needs all the
Makuba by
flowers
far.
today. Yeah, he needs all the flowers today. He made 3 crucial plays, and that was the difference. And that's the reason why we won the game today by his play. Again, the defense is carrying this team, and our offense is not making the mistakes. We are just doing what we need to do to win the game. And I'm so glad we have a quarterback like Jalen Hurts and the team that we have to realize keep the main thing is the only thing.
The
And we
Eagles
got to
are playing
continue
professional
to win.
football.
That's professional football. Again, I want to wrap this up because we're about 35 minutes in. But what I want to say now is what I want to talk about. Okay, so when he scored that touchdown, of course, now I'm pacing back when Patrick Mahomes threw to Thornton for the third time. But I'm glad 45 seconds was off the clock by then. And Andy Reid decided to go for an onside kick. I mean, I wouldn't have never done that. I thought they had a better shot of
Fully kicking it.
just fully kicking it, but he wanted his team to have another shot. But I think the defense would have been more revved up if they would have kicked that ball, through the end zone or something. They would start at 35-yard line. I really think they would have been more revved up. But once when AJ Brown caught the onside kick and then offense come on the field, the first place is Saquon run for 9 yards. I'm like, this game is over now. The game is over. Even if we didn't get a first down, we was going to score 3 points off of that. We still going to run the clock all the way down. They probably had like 1 or 2 seconds to, to have it if they had to get the ball back. There was also some interesting things too. I've noticed. I can't wait to put this out there. This will be the last things we talk about. I'm listening to the commentators and I'm listening. I feel like they're being haters. Also, New York was